My husband's ex-girlfriend is dying. Her last wish is to be with my husband. As the title goes, my 30 female husband's ex-girlfriend 33 female was recently diagnosed with late-stage breast cancer, and her last wish is to be with my husband 35 male. My husband, let's call him Seb, and his ex Tanya became best friends after their breakup a couple of years ago due to her infidelity. They were together for 5 years. Needless to say, they remained in contact even before he met me. I would be lying if I said it never made me feel uncomfortable even once. It did, and it still does, because Tanya is still in love with my husband. She never denied it, and in fact would even call or message me when she couldn't get a hold of Seb. Aside from cancer, she also has some mental health issues. Thus, my husband would always tell me to be kind and patient. Seb is no longer in love with her, of course. She cheated, and Seb swore that he will never get back to her and that he only sees her as family. 2 weeks ago, my husband received a call from Tanya to tell him about the sad news. My husband cried with her and told her everything is going to be okay. They were on the phone the whole day. I forgot to mention that Seb and I moved to Australia a few months ago because of my job, and Tanya is in Canada. They mostly talk via long-distance calls or WhatsApp. They've been in contact almost every day since we left, which always bothers me, but what can I do? After that call, my husband told me everything. To be honest, I felt bad for her and I genuinely feel sad. I asked him what's going to happen now. Seb told me he's going back to Canada, which is a shock. Then he told me that her last wish was to be with him. I didn't see anything except, what about me? He said if I can't leave my job, then he's going to visit me whenever he gets the chance. I walked out without saying anything. Wait. This is your husband? And he's leaving you to go spend time with a dying woman? Wait, that doesn't make sense. I have been avoiding my husband since the phone call, and I've been ignoring him whenever he tries to bring up the conversation. Yesterday, I found out that he already bought a ticket and is flying back home in January. I feel like he's abandoning me, but at the same time, I feel that I'm selfish for hating both of them. I'm honestly thinking of getting a divorce because obviously he's choosing her over me, but at the same time, I thought of why my husband is so attached to her. Seb considered Tanya and her family like his own, as he doesn't have one. She's probably like a sister to him now. No, you don't sleep with your sister. Don't give me that bullshit. But Tanya doesn't feel the same. She's madly in love with my husband, and him granting her wish will surely make her think they still have a chance. My entire life, I've been putting others first. I've been very patient and understanding about their weird relationship. I feel sick, confused. I want to call her, yell at her for ruining my marriage, for trying to steal my husband from me, for using her sickness to get what she wants, for being a bitch. I'm so mad at both of them. What did I do to deserve this? Am I wrong for not wanting to split expenses proportional to income? I live with my boyfriend in a flat he owns. Fully paid off, his father gave it to him. The whole building was built 6 years ago and it's in a very popular area. I pay my boyfriend half of the market rate rent, which we update every year by looking at how much the flats are being rented out for in the building complex, which is a lot of money, but I agreed to it. Other than this, we did everything else 50-50 in the past. I got a new job with significant pay increase, and now my boyfriend says we should start splitting expenses proportional to income because that's fair. Ew, drop him. What the heck? 50-50 is easy. That's like the right moral way to do things. Ew. He got a free flat. He got a free apartment and he's asking what's fair or not. I told him I don't think it's fair that I should start paying for more just because I got a new job and nothing else changed. I already paid him rent, enough rent that would get me a same size flat a few streets away, so it's more than fair to him. He had some, in my opinion, very weak arguments and accused me of ripping him off. That's when I told him that under no circumstances we will split expenses proportional to income. Now that I've calmed down a bit, I'm worried whether I'm in the wrong, especially since my best friend told me that this is how they do it with her boyfriend too, and my boyfriend owning the flat is irrelevant here. So, am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for being reluctant to cover my girlfriend's half of the rent? I, 34 male, have been with my girlfriend 30 female for 4 years and we've been living together for over 3. We're very close and she's a fantastic partner and I adore her. She's done a lot for me financially because she helped support me through a career transition and then my new career was impacted by COVID. Last year, she covered my half of the rent for about 6 months, but the thing is that I only ever asked once or twice and she made it sound like it was a gift. She even explicitly told me she would cover my rent for 3 months so I could have breathing room to pay down my credit cards. Though I'm out of credit card debt, I don't have nearly as much savings as her. Am I the asshole for being reluctant to cover my girlfriend's half of rent? I know she has $10,000 in her bank account at all times because she told me this and has showed me before. I only have $2,500 in my bank account at this moment. Well, my girlfriend's job just went haywire with problems and is laying off the whole staff. They're giving them $250 a week for 6 weeks as severance and it's really a nightmare and she's freaking out. So she asked me if I could maybe cover her half of rent come May 1st. That way she could spend this month trying to find a new job because she doesn't want to touch her savings. I said sure, but she could tell I was uncomfortable, and when she asked why, I said I didn't even have savings. Am I the asshole for saying my niece can't come on vacation if she continues to have tics? Around a month ago, my niece Ashley suddenly started having loud, uncontrollable tics. Random outbursts of cuss words, swinging her head and making loud noises, and saying mean things. According to my sister, another girl in her friend group has also started doing this, and they're both claiming to have Tourette's. Ashley's pediatrician has put her in touch with a therapist, but her first appointment is after the trip. Funnily enough, I sat with Ashley through a 2-hour movie and she didn't have a single tic. But they reappeared when we walked through the mall and then disappeared on the drive home when she was using her phone. And then reappeared at dinner. Am I the asshole for saying my niece can't come on vacation if she continues to have tics? I don't believe for a second that Ashley actually has Tourette's syndrome, and her parents and doctor don't either. I told Ashley that I know she's going through a hard time, but she needs to work on mitigation techniques for her tics before we go on the trip or she might not be able to come. What I said to her mom is that no way in hell am I taking Ashley through an airport, plane, and all around a theme park with her acting like that. It's embarrassing and exhausting for a few hours, let alone multiple days. Her mom thinks it's cruel, and while I do understand something is going on, I think her actions are offensive, especially to those that do have Tourette's. Am I the asshole for kicking my girlfriend out of my apartment so my dad could sleep in it? My dad came to visit for a few weeks, and I was so excited because I hadn't seen him in months. However, my apartment is already pretty full with my girlfriend living there who doesn't pay rent and me. We have a 2-bedroom apartment, but my girlfriend uses the second room as a personal woman cave and prefers to sleep there most nights. The problem was that my dad had to sleep on the couch in the living room, which was causing him severe back pain. My dad is 70 years old, and it was also inconvenient because we couldn't watch TV late at night without disturbing him. So I asked my girlfriend if he could sleep in her room for a few days, but she wasn't having it. Am I the asshole for kicking my girlfriend out of her room in my apartment so my dad could sleep in it? It was only for a few more days, but my girlfriend wasn't having it. She didn't want to give up her space and insisted that I sleep on the couch or in her room instead. But her bed was too small for me to sleep in, and I needed a proper place to sleep. I got upset because I felt like she was being unreasonable. After all, she doesn't pay rent and this is my apartment. She still refused and said that I should have planned better for my dad's visit. She told me I should have booked him a hotel room and acted like I was the one being unreasonable and selfish. Eventually, I got her to let my dad stay in her room, but she's been making me feel guilty. Am I the asshole for manspreading on a plane? A few weeks ago, I, 26 male, was on a flight in between 2 women. I'm tall and never comfortable on planes. My knees always dig into the seat in front and it can be painful. I forgot to stretch my legs prior, and it was even less space because it was Spirit Airlines. After half an hour after takeoff, I found my left knee inching to the side for a sweet relief of open space. Just the no man's land in between seats, but I might have been occupying some of their space. After 2 hours, the woman in the window seat called over the flight attendant. She said something like, "Could you tell him to keep his effing leg in his own effing seat?" Am I the asshole for manspreading on a plane? I instantly retracted my leg in deep shame. She also made a snide reference about the idea that spreading your legs is about male down there comfort. I was shocked into silence and obviously tried to apologize. She refused to speak to me and acted like she didn't hear me. Instead, she furiously texted on her phone. The woman in the aisle seat said she had some extra space on her side that I could use, but then promptly went to sleep. I tried again to apologize to window seat woman, but she ignored me. I kept replaying it on why she didn't simply ask me to move my knee instead of calling the attendant. I even sneaked a peek on her phone, and part of what she was writing was about me.
Storytime about when I subjected a random teacher to a repeated dunking for 15 minutes. I used to have a really great history teacher that me and the kids used to love and would hand out candy and just be there to talk if you needed him. Well, one spring he advertised that he was going to be at the local fair to raise money for charity by participating in a dunk tank and asked us to show up. Cool. And the sweetener was that we get a piece of candy for each time we dunked him. Even better. So, Middle school me saved up 3 months of allowance and chore money for the big day and ended up with something like 40 tries worth of money by then. Come the big day, and there's predictably a huge line as every kid he's ever taught wants to support him and get candy. So long of a line that right as I was about to take my turn, his shift ends and he's replaced by another fellow teacher from another school district. Now here's where the mess up comes in. One thing to know about me is that while I'm not athletic, I'm an idiot savant when it comes to carnival games and understand it's about accuracy, not showiness. So I was pretty confident that I was going to get some hits in. Little did I know that my childlike brain would get in some weird rhythm and basically make something like 35 out of the 40 attempts I had on the poor teacher, basically dunking her as soon as she got back onto the platform for something like 15 minutes straight. Looking back, it was pretty clear that someone should have stepped in with mercy rule, but my childlike brain knew candy was on the line, so I just kept going and going and going, probably making this lady wonder if I was some former student that had it out.
Am I the asshole for not letting a mom with a baby in front of me and telling an elderly lady to F off? I went to a shop today and service there was really slow and only one register was open. There was a really long line of people with majority of them having full carts of items, but I only had one item. Behind me was an elderly lady and a mom with a baby. The older lady started telling the mom to skip the queue and go in front because she's with a child. I turned to her and asked her to speak for herself and that I do not agree that the mom skips in front of me. So of course we argue and I say that she should wait like everybody else. And if she's unable because of the baby, she shouldn't have brought the baby to the store. Am I the asshole for not letting a mom with a baby in front of me and telling an elderly lady to F off? The elderly lady said she never saw behavior like this and I'll understand when I have my own kids. I corrected her and said if, then she started telling me that my life will be horrible if I don't and how I lack empathy. So I told her to F off and the older woman and a mom kept talking about me and my behavior. The mom then complained how she feels uncomfortable existing in a public space because of people like me. I have no problem with kids. But in this situation, why should she have a privilege to skip a line just because the baby popped out? It's not like the baby was screaming or anything. Am I wrong?